Welcome to the Fantasy Beer League, where you get half-decent advice from half-decent guys. I'm your host, Shawn Joyce. With me, as always, is Reginald Vell Johnson's murderer, Justin Gill, our resident fantasy football expert, Matthew Senni, and our special guest, this week's big loser, Danny Verico. How's it going, Justin?
Pretty good. I had tacos for dinner today.
Oh, nice. Where from?
On the border.
Oh, was Reginald Vell Johnson there?
He wasn't.
He wasn't?
He might have been at Chili's next door.
Oh, Chili's,
Which is just, I don't know why there's a Chili's and an On the Border right next to one another.
That is an interesting concept.
But, yeah, I didn't see him. I'll keep my eyes peeled next time.
Yeah, please do. He's alive. He's out there.
Yeah, he's alive.
And Senni, how do you feel? You look a lot better this week.
I'm happy.
You got a shirt on today.
I'm happy that I'm not sticking my hand in that football. It makes me feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, a nice victory for you. I mean, still,
no, but I had a good scoring game.
Yes,
so
you did.
I'm happy with
You were
that.
one of the higher scoring teams this week, so that's got to feel good. Finally, I'll throw it to you, Danny. Are there any grievances you'd like to air before we draw this punishment for you?
No, I mean, I think I kind of saw this one coming. I didn't like the wide receiver core coming this one. Actually, no, Juju gets a shout out. He's been blowing cheeks for me. So
yeah,
thanks,
has.
Juju. I love you as a guy, but pick it the fuck up.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about him in a little bit, but for now, we'll draw this punny.
Yeah, eager for this. And we're getting shot with a paintball gun.
Oh.
Yikes.
Do you accept, or are you gonna pay the fine?
No, I'll take it.
All right.
Take it. I used to paintball as a kid. I think I can handle it.
You're taking it on the chin. I respect that.
Yeah.
We'll see you. We'll see you outside when we shoot you in the ass. Get the hell out of here.
Good luck, buddy.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, let's begin.
What if that's how you talk to your family members? We'll see you outside when we shoot you in the ass. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I mean, that's not how you guys spend Thanksgiving with your loved ones.
Depends.
Depends on the day.
Yeah. I mean, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it depends on the year.
It depends on the year.
Yeah. So let's start with a rescheduled game of two unbeaten teams. The Titans, tighten up, at the Steelers. Both offenses have looked great so far this season, and the Steelers' defense has been dominant so far. I say that Chase Claypool is a top 20 wide receiver as long as Deontay Johnson is out. And if Johnson returns, I still like him as a top 25, top 30-ish receiver. Nice flex play.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going away. But I do think that Johnson will see the majority of work when he returns, which could be as soon as this week. So something to keep an eye on. The member of this receiving core that we need to talk about, though, is Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin. What should fantasy managers be doing with him?
I think you got to try to move on. If you can try to find somebody dumb enough to trade for him, maybe do that. I don't see him any higher than like a wide receiver 3 or a flex.
Yeah. I don't think you can drop him
Yeah.
because, I mean, unless you absolutely had to, I suppose you could. But you might be able to trade him just on name value alone, but the production isn't there. He hasn't topped 50 yards since week 1, and he only had 2 catches for 6 yards on Sunday. If you drafted him like Danny did, he's been killing you. So it's a shame to see.
Yeah.
James Conner's balling out, though. Eric Ebron still isn't doing shit.
Yep.
The Titans might have the best fantasy team in the league. They're up there for sure. Derrick Henry is unstoppable. He produces massive numbers every single week despite little involvement in the passing game. Jonnu Smith left Sunday's game early with an ankle injury, and in his absence, teammate Anthony Fursker had 8 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. Would you pick up Fursker to replay this week if you were a Jonnu Smith fantasy manager, Justin?
I think I would. I mean, the Titans' offense has been pretty high potent, and Tannehill's looked great.
Mm-hmm. Sure has.
So it's kind of just a fill-in. If it's long-term, then you keep him for a little bit longer. But, yeah, I wouldn't mind picking him up.
Yeah, I think the talent is there and obviously the volume for him. And as you said, Tannehill has been great so far this season. My concern is the matchup. The Pittsburgh has been one of the best teams against the tight end this season. So I would temper expectations a little bit. But if I needed a tight end, I think you could definitely do worse.
Yeah.
And like you said, the way Tannehill's played, who knows? Maybe this is going to be a shootout. Also, speaking on Tannehill, he's been phenomenal and undervalued as a fantasy quarterback. I say the Titans win a good, close game.
My heart says the Steelers, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers. I do think it's close.
I didn't expect you to go against them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game.
So I just want to add real quick that I did pick up Claypool in both leagues that I'm in, and it has made a pretty big difference for me. So if anyone's considering doing it, if somehow he's not picked up, which I would think that he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's rostered in most leagues after the 4-touchdown game for sure.
That would be a very big power move. This is the most nervous I've been for a game for Pittsburgh all year. I
Yeah.
was nervous with the first time it came around, but I am going to go with Pittsburgh because I can't go against them.
Understood. Tighten up. I'm picking them. All right, Senni. Who's the quarterback for the Cowboys now that Dak Prescott is out for the year?
Oh my gosh, I do know this. It's I really, really do know who this is, and I'm blanking on it right now, and I'm really mad at myself. It's Andy Dalton.
Oh, he got
Can't
it.
believe I remembered that. I was like, it's a big name guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, good for you. You get to ice one of us. Vince has to go grab one for us.
Well, Vince can do it when he comes back.
Okay,
I
so
always got to get Vince in first.
yeah, that's a power move there. I respect it. Zeke for the Cowboys has had a case of the fumbles so far this season, and on Monday night we saw Tony Pollard cut into his workload. I don't think this is something to be particularly worried about, but we need him to cut that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good for your team when your best running back, your best player probably, is fumbling the ball and losing snaps. As for the other weapons on the team, I think better days are ahead. Dalton will get more comfortable as the season goes on, and the defense is garbage. They're going to be down all the time. They're going to need to throw to win games and keep up. So I'm still in on the Dallas offense. I'm not pressing the panic button on them yet.
Yeah.
Washington, are you good?
That is so old. Oh my gosh.
No, it's not.
No,
I bought him
Sean
last week.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I thought that was the same one.
No, I got him last week. Well, keep choking it down, Vince. Do your best. We're going to talk about the Washington football team, Dallas's opponent. Washington doesn't have much, but we already know Terry McLaurin is a starter every week. It's hard to trust a running back on this team, but what about J.D. McKissick, Justin? He has 19 receptions over the last 3 weeks, and he's the clear-cut receiving back on this team.
I think he'd be a good rental player for a week, especially against a really, really, really shitty defense. Being in a PPR league, I think that plays into his favor.
Yeah, I agree. I have him as a top 30 running back this week. So I'm in on him, especially if he keeps getting, 6 catches a game. That's definitely useful in PPR. I'm actually going to take the football team to win this game in an upset.
I'm going to go Cowboys.
Yeah, I like Dallas.
I know. You guys say that every time we talk.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I always like Dallas.
I don't know people don't like Dallas. I like them.
It's not that I don't like them. I pick against them, and they lose all the time. So does Washington, so two shitty teams.
We're
but-
also Giants fans, so you got a reason to not like
But I
them.
pick against the Giants,
Same with
too.
the
Yeah,
Eagles
that's true.
fan.
Yeah.
Next up, let's talk about another shitty team. The Bills play the Jets. Bills have been struggling a bit recently, Justin. Are you nervous about them at the moment?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of concerning. They started off pretty hot, and then Allen's looked pretty flat. Diggs has looked pretty good past couple games.
Yeah, he's been...
Yeah. But yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I don't have anybody on the team, but
Yeah.
it's concerning.
Well, I mean, I'm nervous about the running backs.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting better anytime soon.
No.
Josh Allen, I think, is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And Stephon Diggs, as you mentioned, is fine. This is the week to start them and not feel nervous about it because they play the Jets, and the Jets can't stop anybody. And on offense, they're still atrocious, even though they got rid of Le'Veon Bell because, I'm sure he's what was weighing them down. So on the Jets, you're starting Jamison Crowder, and that's it.
Yep.
I'm going to take the Bills by 1,000.
Yeah, I'm going Bills too.
Yeah, I'll go Bills.
You thought about the upset.
I
for a
did. I
second.
almost wanted to give the Jets some credit, but they're just not good.
They're not. And especially if Sam Darnold's out again. Joe Flacco.
He looks like shit.
Well, yeah. He's 1,000 years old, and
That's true.
he was never particularly good.
Yeah.
So.
We know we have friends who would disagree with him.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he was elite in one playoff run, but
Yeah.
other than that, he's average at best.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I'm not getting into a Joe Flacco debate. We don't care about Joe Flacco. If you're starting Joe Flacco, your team is probably dog shit. So.
Yep.
I almost feel like I have to like Joe Flacco because of where I live now.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Let's keep rolling along here. The Saints play the Panthers this week. It appears that fantasy managers will have at least one more week of Mike Davis goodness, with CMC likely to be sidelined again. Sunday was a rough game for the Panthers, but it was nice to see DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson both have productive games. Nice to see them coexist a bit.
Yeah.
As for the Saints, Michael Tyson should return for this game as long as he doesn't punch someone in the fucking face again. How do you view the value of his return as it pertains to the other members of the Saints offense, Justin?
I think the other receivers, I think, are going to take a dip. Kamara is going to be fine.
Yes.
But it gives them overall as a team pretty much that complete team on offense.
I wouldn't start any wide receiver who isn't Michael Thomas
Yeah, I agree.
after he returns.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Panthers to win the game. Fuck the Saints.
I'm going to go Panthers too.
Fuck the Saints.
Yeah.
That's the
And
right.
you know
way
I
to
like
be.
the Saints, but
I know you
think
do.
the
You're on the lone person that's
Yeah.
a Saints fan on this green table. I wanted to come up with another word for island, but
This planet.
this planet. You know, I mean, yeah,
Saints.
fuck the Saints. Taysom fucking. I don't want to get into it. Okay,
I don't like
Senni,
Taysom Hill.
another chance to ice one of us. Name a pass catcher on the Packers. They play the Texans.
Yeah, I don't know that I know. It's funny because obviously we have friends who can be like, hey, it's this person. I don't think I know anybody, to be totally honest. I don't even think I have a guess.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about a couple of them here. The big name is Devontae Adams. The Packers struggled on Sunday, but I don't think there's any reason to worry. And Devontae Adams still had a pretty nice game in his return. Do you view any other wide receiver on the team other than Adams as a playable fantasy starter?
Not really, because they can't stay healthy. I don't think I wouldn't pick anybody up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know that I'm concerned so much about their health. I just feel like Devontae Adams dominates the target share every time he's healthy.
No, I don't. I feel better now that I didn't know.
So even if you do have, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I know that Adam Lazard's out, but any of those guys, I don't know how you can start them with any confidence that they're going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's really a dart throw. One of them will probably score a long touchdown every now and then, but it's not worth picking them up, starting them. You can't trust them at all. There's definitely better options on the waiver wire. As for the Texans, they appear to be a much better offense without Bill O'Brien. Now that Reginald Vell-Johnson, his lookalike Romeo Crennel, is still there. Deshaun Watson seems to have his shit together now. And Brandon Cooks had another nice game. Will Fuller V is a starter every week for me. And if he's healthy, when he's healthy anyway, I know that he has hamstring issues. Cooks, for me, is still a boom-bust type play. I know he put together back-to-back good games, but it's still a risky play for me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about their tight end, though. Darren Fells had 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown on Sunday. Do you see him as being a fantasy viable tight end going forward?
I think if you don't have a better option, it's not out of the question. Back-to-back games with a touchdown and an offense that seems to be finding its stride and coming back. I think there are definitely worse options out there.
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm rushing to pick him up.
No.
But if I have a Zach Ertz, if I have a guy like Tyler Higbee who's not been doing it much for me, I'm fine with dropping either of those guys and starting. Well, I wouldn't drop Ertz, but he is out for 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And even when he comes back with all the injuries, there's no guarantee he's going to produce. So I'm fine with a Darren Fells type of guy to pick up. But I think the Packers are going to win this game.
I'm going to go Houston with the upset.
I'm going to go with Houston, too.
I don't see the Packers losing 2 in a row. I mean, we'll see.
I think you're being more rational. I would just like to see Houston win.
Okay. I understand. You don't want the Packers to win.
I just don't want the Packers
you
to
guys
win.
hate
That's all it is.
Next up, another great game. The Browns take on the Bengals. The Browns struggled against the Steelers, but most offenses do. I'm not particularly concerned about them going forward, at least not their running game, and I'm especially not concerned in a good matchup against the Bengals. Let's play a game of chug or dump. I say Odell scores in this game. What do you guys think?
I'll chug it. I think he's going to get one.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, wow. We're okay. I wasn't expecting all of us to be in on that. But yeah, I like the matchup. I think he's due for one. He's going to have a lot of those games that we've seen in the past few weeks where he doesn't produce much, but I think this is a week to start him and feel really good about it. As always, Kareem Hunt is a top 10 play for me. Jarvis Landry should only be started in deep leagues, and Austin Hooper has been more involved in the past few weeks. So again, if you're looking for a fill-in tight end, if you just lost Zach Ertz, Darren Fells is a guy I like. Austin Hooper is another guy that I'm fine with starting. The Bengals will continue to feed Joe Mixon and make him relevant despite his poor efficiency. Tyler Boyd is still my preferred receiver on this team, but after both had good games on Sunday, what value do A.J. Green and T. Higgins have going forward, Justin?
I think Higgins has more value, but I really don't think either of them have particularly great value. Boyd would be the only one that I would want from the team. I have him, so I wouldn't look to get either of the other two.
I like T. Higgins. I think, he's a rookie, and part of his game are those long plays. So if you're looking for a fill-in on a bye week or a flex start throw, I really like T. Higgins. I think he should be played in more leagues than not. A.J. Green, I don't buy it. I'm not particularly interested in rostering him at all.
I was looking to pick someone up, saw his name, I didn't even think about
Yeah, AJ Green, I have no interest in. T. Higgins, I like, especially as him and Joe Burrow get more of a rapport together.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd, still my number one option, obviously, but T. Higgins is a flex play for me. I'm taking the Browns to win the game.
Yeah, I'm going Browns.
Next up, we'll talk Lions and Falcons. For the Lions, Kenny Golladay, who is good at football, is primed for a huge day against Atlanta's defense. Not good at football.
Yeah.
I have him as a top 5 wide receiver this week. Justin, last week we saw DeAndre Swift rush for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Do you think he's finally earned the Lions' share of the snaps? Pun intended.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think he's close to it. I wouldn't say that it's confirmed. I'd like to see him do this in a couple more games. But I'd like to see him get into that lead back.
I mean, yeah, me too, obviously. I think he has the most upside and talent of all the backs they have.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see him get involved more than he was. But again, I agree with you. I need to see it again before I'm comfortable starting him. As for the Falcons, Julio looked like Julio on Sunday. If you listened to me and missed out on the big game, the big fantasy points, I'm sorry, but I stand by what I said. Now I feel comfortable starting him.
Yeah.
And Ridley, for that matter, in my starting lineups. And perhaps Matt Ryan can put himself back into the starting fantasy quarterback mix now that Julio is healthy. Todd Gurley, too, had a quiet game against the Vikings, but still finished with 23 touches. For now, the volume is there, so keep playing him at your own risk. I've been on the sell Todd Gurley train for quite a few weeks now. Does anyone want to make a case for keeping him, or are we all in agreement?
Nah, if I have him, I'm looking to dump him.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't dump him, but I would try to get something in return.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Just get rid of him.
I think the best days are behind him.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Falcons to win in a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I'm going Falcons again.
Yeah, I'll go Falcons.
Okay. All right, boys, let's get into a very special Thirsty Thursday. The New York Football Giants are coming off their first win and still don't look particularly good on offense. I think Darius Slayton is usually a fine flex candidate, but this is a tough matchup for him. Darius Slay has played pretty well this year for the Eagles, so I'd be nervous starting him. I think Evan Ingram might actually be a solid play this week, given how weak Philly's linebackers have been so far this year. They've also not been great against the run, but I mean, Devontae Freeman, he gets enough volume to warrant starting him if you don't have any other options. But Daniel Jones actually leads the team in rushing, which I think says more about the running backs than it does Daniel Jones. I think that should tell you everything you need to know about your level of confidence starting any running back.
Yeah.
But Devontae Freeman is the best one if you're desperate. Today I'm drinking Double Pillow by Common Roots, found in New York. Saratoga, New York. I have family up there, actually.
Did they send it down to you?
No.
Oh.
But anyway, it's really nice, really citrusy and smooth. It's got a super soft mouthfeel, which is why I think it's called Double Pillow, because it's pillowy soft. Good marketing by the people over at Common Roots. It's a good beer. They distribute down here, I know, so if you're local and you wanted to try it, I highly recommend it. I give it a good rating. Justin, why don't you tell me what you're drinking? Tell me about the Eagles. And tell me who you think is going to win the game. I'm going to take the Eagles. I think that Carson Wentz could go out there by himself and beat the Giants.
Yep. I am drinking Merry Monkey. It's from Victory Brewing, and I believe it's Downingtown. Yep. Belgian-style ale with cranberry, orange peel, cinnamon, and nutmeg. I think this shit sucks.
Ooh.
I'm not a fan of this beer. It's trying to be like their version of Mad Elf, which I don't particularly like either. And now I'm going to talk about a team that I don't like. The Eagles are just a hot mess right now. They're decimated by injuries. Wentz hasn't looked great, but doesn't have a whole lot to work with. Ertz getting hurt for 3 to 4 weeks, going to be out. Fulgham played well. I think he's probably the best option that they have on offense right now. Him, Greg Ward, and then was it Boston Scott?
Boston Scott's the backup. Yeah, Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders is out too. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game, but I'm going to go Eagles 17-10.
Yeah, that's another good note, though. I like both defenses this week. If you're looking to stream a defense, either one I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
So, Senni, why don't you tell us what you're drinking, who you think's going to win the game?
So I'm drinking Neo Samurai from what is slowly becoming maybe my favorite brewery, Balerno Snort. It's a pale ale. It's up in North Jersey. Justin told me where it was, but I really don't think I've ever heard of the place. It's really good. I've rated all their beers pretty highly. As much as I do not like to watch this team win, which I don't think I always felt this way, I am going to go with Philly.
Yeah. Well, I hope we're wrong.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
so
me
too.
too.
Did you tell him where you look confused when he said you told him where it was from?
I might have been drunk one night and said it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
He did, though. He did tell me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe. Well, Senni always remembers everything. I didn't
Yeah.
doubt Senni.
Yeah, Carlstad. It's outside of the Meadowland.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's by where the Giants play. That might be
Yes,
the good
see,
luck
you
thing.
said- You told me that.
Yeah,
That might be the good luck for my team to win.
There you
I know
go.
Vince wants the Giants to win. I'm okay with the losing. I've become numb to it, but I can't stand a loss to Dallas or Philly. Let's press on here with our late games. The Seahawks take on the Cardinals. Seahawks are good at football, and 4 of them are worth starting. Senni, who plays running back for the Seahawks?
For this, I'm thinking there's like a name that I do know. I don't know if he's a starter.
I mean, you can just throw it out there.
Doesn't Hyde play for them?
He does, but he's not the starting running back.
That's the only name I would know.
Well, Chris Carson, my best friend, we hang out on the weekends.
Okay.
That's their starter.
Gotcha.
Justin, I think everyone knows to start Wilson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and my boy Chris Carson. My question for you is this. Does DK Metcalf make you feel like less of a man?
yeah.
Me too.
I don't have anything else. Yeah, he does.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we dove
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, he does.
But yeah, I mean, he's
Especially because he's doing all of that stuff with his mouthpiece looks like a pacifier.
I didn't even notice that. I'm too distracted by how beautiful he is.
Yeah,
I don't think he wants to hang out with me, but me and Chris will talk about it.
yeah.
Let's talk about the Cardinals here. Their offense looked great against Dallas on Monday night, and I expect to see that continue against Seattle's terrible defense. Kenyon Drake finally looked good and seems to have re-solidified his role as the lead back in this offense. Obviously, Kyler Murray is a stud. He scored almost 30 fantasy points and beat me by a very narrow margin, which made me very upset.
Yeah.
And he only completed 9 fucking passes. So
Did he really?
Yes, 9 for 24.
Wow.
Yeah. So he didn't play that well, but he
No.
threw an 80-yard bomb to Kirk, and he did a lot dynamically on the ground, over 70 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. So it is what it is. That's fantasy football, baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Seahawks win this game.
I'm gonna go Cardinals. I think the Seahawks get their first loss.
Yeah, I like Arizona. I'm going to go with them.
Okay. Now let's get into the game of the week. The Jags take on the Chargers. James Robinson and DJ Chark are pretty much locked into their respective RB2 and wide receiver 2 fantasy projections. But what do you make of Keelan Cole Sr.'s big game against the Lions? He totaled 143 yards on 6 catches.
Big guy. I think he serves as a good compliment. As long as Minshew can get him the ball, I think he's poised for some big games in the future.
I think this matchup is tough for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually like all 3 wide receivers in relative range to each other.
Yeah.
I like him. I like Laviska Shenault.
Sounds like a Bible verse.
It
Laviska
does.
Shenault.
It does. It sounds like he's like, a Messiah or something like that.
Maybe he is.
He could be. He could be.
You got to ask Chris Carson. He probably knows.
He probably does. I mean, I'm sure they hang out too. He's like a tertiary friend to me.
Yeah.
But the Chargers defense is pretty solid. Their secondary I still think is good, even with the injuries. But I'm still okay starting any of them because the upside is always there.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to always need a touchdown late. They always seem to be playing from behind. So that's good for garbage time. We don't care when the points come as long as the
they
points come.
yeah.
The Chargers are coming off a surprise bye week and are hoping to have a healthy Keenan Allen in time for this game. If he isn't able to go, Hunter Henry and Mike Williams figure to see an uptick in targets. Justin Herbert has looked very good. And either of those receivers, Hunter Henry or Mike Williams, are fine for me in the event that Allen isn't able to go. But I'll rank Mike Williams outside of my top 25 if Allen is healthy. What do you make of this backfield, though, Justin? Eckler is still out, and we saw a bit of a committee the last time we saw them play.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be a committee. I think Jackson gets more in the passing game, and Kelly's going to get a little bit lesser of a volume.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the worst committee that there's out or that there is. I'm using Jackson as kind of a bye week fill-in, streaming until I can get McCaffrey back.
Yeah.
So I think they'd be fine plays.
I'm good with Justin Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, they got similar workloads, but he was clearly the better running back.
Yeah.
Just by watching them play, you can tell that he has more pop, more speed, all the things you're looking for in a running back. And as you mentioned, he catches more passes.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Kelly, I think, is droppable in all formats. But yeah, Justin Jackson, I'm good with him as long as Eckler is out. And I'm going to take the Chargers to win.
Yeah, I'm going Chargers.
I find this the toughest one to pick so far. I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
Okay. I think if Senni got every Jacksonville game right, they'd be 6-0.
Yeah.
49ers take on the Patriots. On Sunday, the 49ers look more like the 49ers and against the Rams, and they look to build on that against New England. Raheem Mostert was forced out of the game early, and in the event he misses time, I don't feel great about sussing out that backfield.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan has always been known to use multiple running backs, kind of throws you off your game. You don't know who's playing, who's doing what. The guy that came in for Mostert was a special teamer who had never played running back in the NFL. So you never have fucking any idea who it's going to be. But anyway, I wouldn't start a running back in the event that Mostert is out unless McKinnon can play. I think he might be able to play this week.
I think he is, yeah.
Well, we shall see.
Yeah.
But either way, I don't feel great about it either way. Deebo Samuel, though, Justin. He totaled 6 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown this week after an impressive return to action in Week 5. Should fantasy managers feel comfortable with him in their starting lineups going forward?
I think he's getting there. 49ers with Garoppolo getting healthier. I think they're starting to catch their stride, so I think maybe give it another week or so, and then I would probably feel comfortable with him in the starting lineup.
I'm good with it now, unless you have somebody else that you can play. But I feel like most teams that have a Deebo Samuel don't have a better option.
Yeah.
So I've seen enough that I'm feeling okay about putting him in there. This week I'm tempering expectations for George Kittle too because they play the Patriots and Belichick is known for taking away a team's top target.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this could be a big Deebo Samuel game, even though I don't know. I feel like Gilmore's going to be on Kittle. We'll see what happens, but I just feel like they're going to lock in on Kittle because they know that he's the biggest threat. The Patriots adversely actually have not looked very good. They looked like shit against Denver. Yeah. We've seen them find success on the ground, except for that one game against the Seahawks where the passing game was efficient. It has not looked very good. They have not looked well through the air. What do we make of this, Justin?
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of trust anyone on there, even Cam at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Throwing the ball, he hasn't looked great. He's taking a lot of hits, and then with their backfield, you don't have a viable running back to go with.
Mm-hmm.
And it just overall looks kind of flat.
It does. And, I mean, Julian Edelman I don't even think is startable anymore.
No.
He's looked awful. He hasn't done anything except for that one big game against Seattle.
Right.
So I wouldn't feel good. I wouldn't feel comfortable with any Patriot in my starting lineup, except for maybe Cam because he does offer rushing volume with his legs. But this is a solid defense still, even with all the injuries. So I'm fading all my Patriots. But even to that point, I don't see them losing 3 games in a row. So I'm going to take New England to win the game.
See, I see them losing 3. I'm going with the 49ers.
No, I'm going New England.
It'd be the first time in, I think, our lives, well, at least since Bill Belichick has been head coach, that they've lost 3 in a row.
That's insane.
I know. This is the first time they've been sub 500 in like 15 years or something like that through the first 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous.
I think it was
factor, right? The obvious factor.
Yeah, that's true. Next up, we'll cover the Chiefs at the Broncos. Chiefs are a running team now. Against the Bills on Monday night, they ran the ball 46 times for 245 yards. We already know that Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey are clear starters every week. I don't expect that volume to continue for the running game. But how do you think the Le'Veon Bell and Clyde Edwards-Helaire workload will be split?
I think Bell's going to get more work in the passing game and the goal line back. Bigger back, so I think that's going to play into his factor. And then I think Helaire is going to get more of the rushing down sort of plays.
See, I think that you're correct in the goal line work. CEH got stuffed in week 1. I remember we all saw him get the ball and then get stuffed in the backfield on all of his goal line to go attempts. So I do agree as the goal line back. I'm not sure that Le'Veon Bell is going to be a bigger pass catching back than a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Helaire is a good pass catcher. They haven't used him very much. I don't know why they would switch to Le'Veon Bell in that capacity.
Yeah,
I do think he will be in as the third down back for blocking situations, but the Chiefs push the ball down the field too much.
Yeah,
I don't really see Le'Veon Bell having much value on his own. I know we have a little bet going on just to fill everybody in where I say that Le'Veon Bell will only score a touchdown against the Jets, and you say that he'll score any other week.
Yeah.
So we shall see who wins that argument. For the Broncos, Drew Lock returned on Sunday, and while he didn't look great, he does boost the offensive weapons around him. If Noah Fant is able to return this week, you have to play him.
Mm-hmm.
But what about Melvin Gordon 3, Justin? He missed week 6, and in his absence, Philip Lindsay had 23 carries for 101 yards.
Yeah. I mean, I think Gordon hasn't looked spectacular this year. I think he's looked okay at best. Lindsay, I think filling in is a bit scary because he played well.
Mm.
But with the Broncos, I think that they're just – I don't think they're that great where they might be playing from behind a lot, so that could negatively impact Gordon.
Well, honestly, I mean, Melvin Gordon was a top 20 running back. I think he was even top 15, maybe even top 10 until he missed last week. So he was producing, but Philip Lindsay wasn't healthy, and that was before Melvin Gordon had a DUI. I think both of those things play a factor, and I think this is going to be more of a committee than we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel very unsettled about starting Melvin Gordon 3. But I also don't think you can start Philip Lindsay with confidence because I think they'll work too involved with each other.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs win big.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's get into Sunday Night Football.
We've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
Senni, what have you been waiting all day for?
Waiting all day to talk about One Piece. All right, so
A piece of what?
So, as most people know, I am pretty big anime dork. I'm specifically, though, big on, like, Shonen Jump, right? The big name ones. And I am pretty big on, like, being a hater of some of the big name ones, right? There's ones that I'm told all the time to watch that I just won't watch just because they're popular. But there's one that I eventually gave in on many years ago, One Piece, right? So I've been told that Vince is not a fan of One Piece. I am not. And I don't get that, Vince.
All right, Vince, you need to come defend.
Yeah.
You need to defend your side of the argument. I don't know anything about this stuff, so I'm not going to pretend to have a voice in this opinion. So Vince, get in here and let's talk.
Yeah, I don't know shit about fuck with this. So I'm just gonna sit.
You don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and drink.
a microphone.
So
Drink my shitty beer.
So Vince has apparently watched more anime than me, which I find very insane, honestly.
How many have you seen?
A good amount, but not as much as I've heard that you've watched.
I've seen a lot.
So this show has been on for 30 years, Vince.
Yeah, it has.
And it's pretty much widely considered the number one anime. There are over 80 chapters of 80 volumes of this that you could buy physically.
Yeah.
So what's not to like?
That's the number one issue I have with it. The fact that it's still airing. Have they not finished the story yet?
They are clearly dragging it out, but obviously what they're going for is they're trying to build the anticipation. They're building a fan base.
The anticipation. It's been 30 years. They're approaching 1,000 episodes.
Dude.
1,000.
And you know what? They're making more money than any other franchise doing it. They've made like 4 movies. And dude, they didn't get me until like 2017. So like they're obviously still building fans. They're developing characters. They're somehow making this what is probably going to be the most memorable show of all time, dude.
I can't. My biggest problems with it are, one, it takes 80 episodes to get good. I watched 60 of them, and I was like, I'm so bored by this.
Dude, and I knew this was going to be your argument.
That's only one of them.
Yes,
that's one of them.
Every single show on anime starts slow, dude. They're all terrible at first.
Wait. Dragon Ball Z, I know Dragon Ball is there, but that doesn't count because most people when they came in on Dragon Ball Z came in on Dragon Ball Z. Within the first 15 episodes, Goku has a hole in his chest with Piccolo and
dead,
Raditz.
So he's not even in the show.
They jumped right into it. It took so long. And the other thing I have about One Piece is the fact that the animation still sucks after 30 years.
Dude, you can't even go by the animation. You got to read it. See, I'm a big advocate if you got to read it. But, dude, you got to understand that you got to get past that early stuff. Oh. Dude, you know what I would do? Read it on Wiki. I'm the king. They hear this all the time. I read stuff on Wiki, I get the background, and then you jump into the good stuff, dude.
The other thing that bothered me about the anime is just the powers in general. The whole, like, what are those things called?
Devil fruits. It's the coolest thing about the show.
I hate those
Dude,
things.
you could have a power to shoot fire, or you could be like a dog that like shoots cannons, dude. Cannonballs. Dude. It's ridiculous.
I just think the powers are dumb. That's what I guess why I can't get into
dude,
it.
You gotta enjoy it. That's the best part of it. People whose power is like to turn into mochi. Or dude, people who could like steal your soul. It's so cool, dude. I
had this argument with a dude online about like it was like Demon Slayer versus One Piece, and I was like, those are two separate things. Demon Slayer is 12 episodes long, or no, I think it's 25 episodes long. I can't remember which one it is.
And I still haven't watched it.
Watch it. It's better than One Piece.
And dude, the woman at the bank told me to watch Demon Slayer. And I'm telling you, if you can watch Demon Slayer, you can watch One Piece. Because you're going to regret, you're going to miss out on literally one of the greatest stories ever, dude. It's the only one like I'm still heavily invested in. It's the one from our childhood. Dude, I remember being in 4th grade and watching this like on vacation, and it's still on.
It's still on. That's my
problem. My advice, right, to anybody who actually watches anime, skip most of it. Read about it on Wikipedia, and then start around the Impel Down arc, and you're good to go from there.
That's actually that's good advice. I'd take that advice.
There we go. See, I win.
That's good advice. Cool. Because I can't watch 1,000 episodes of an anime. I get too bored.
Started Impel Down.
Sean.
Well, I'm glad we let that happen organically because there were some raw emotions going on.
Yeah, and my biggest takeaway out of that is I didn't know anime was on for 30 years. I thought this shit came out in like 2001.
You go to the store and you'll see in that section there are 80 books for this.
Yeah, I'm not going to a bookstore.
No, dude, I don't even buy the books anymore, you know?
My biggest takeaway was that Vince had an argument with a dude online. So I was picturing Vince, no, One Piece sucks, fuck you!
I'm gonna find where you live and kill you.
The debate was comparing those two anime, and I was like, you literally can't. One's 24 episodes, the other one's 1,000. There's no comparison.
I see.
Yes, One Piece is better.
I don't think I'd ever watched 1,000 episodes of my favorite show.
So it'd be like comparing, the history of the Green Bay Packers to the Jacksonville Jags, or maybe the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tie this back into football. It's very hard.
Browns.
My other big takeaway,
No, I think he's going on like
length and like success in short periods of time.
You can do Packers and Texans.
Texans haven't done anything. Panthers at least lost 2 Super Bowls. I think the Panthers are the best. Panthers have only been around since the 90s. Packers have been around forever.
I know that. I don't know what kind of comparison.
We're talking about this for too long. My other takeaway is that Senni got advice from a person at the bank.
Yeah.
This woman at the
bank.
She for real actually told me like to go and watch a show. The woman at the bank. It's ridiculous.
I've never talked to anybody at a bank.
I haven't been to a bank in like 3 years. I just do everything on my phone.
Sorry,
can I have money?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anything else.
How did that come up?
My wife was changing her name legally on her debit card. And I don't even know how it came up, honestly, but somehow it came up anime, and she was like, oh, yeah, you got to watch Demon Slayer.
Wow. Well, the Bucks play the Raiders. Tampa Bay dominated the Packers on Sunday, and we saw a vintage Gronk performance as he brought in 5 passes for 78 yards and a touchdown. Should fantasy managers get him in their lineup, Justin?
Nah, I think stream him for a week, and that's about it.
Okay. As for the running game, I agree with you.
Yeah.
As I'm hoping that Ronald Jones, too, is the guy for real this time. Uncle Lenny was inactive last week. The week before he was active and only played 1 snap. So I think that Bruce Arians is smart enough to see that Ronald Jones had 23 carries for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns this week. And
That's
total
3 games in a row with 100?
Well, it's at least 2. I know he did it against the Bears. I don't know if he did it the week before. And I don't feel comfortable enough to put myself on the line to see if I'm wrong. But since you put it out there, I'll pay the $5 fine if he has done it 3 times in a row, and you have to pay it if he has. Yeah. Okay, I'm good with that. I think Bruce Arians has realized how good Ronald Jones is anyway, so I feel good about starting Rojo if you have him. The Raiders are coming off their bye, and I think you should be tempering expectations for Josh Jacobs this week, actually. I love him as a player, but Tampa Bay's defense has been excellent against the run so far this year, and they just limited 3rd overall pick Aaron Jones to 10 carries for 15 yards. You're still starting Jacobs, but he's only a mid-tier running back 2 for me this week. Justin, there are 4 teams on a bye this week, including the Ravens, who some fantasy managers, such as myself, may rely on for quarterback. Can we trust starting Derek Carr this week?
I don't know. You saw how poorly Rodgers played against Tampa Bay last year.
That's true.
I think he is a lot better than Derek Carr. And Carr is prone to making mistakes. I think he holds on to the ball way too fucking long. So if there's a better option, I think pull the trigger on that. I don't know that I would trust starting Carr for the bye week.
I'm in on him.
You're in on him?
Yeah, he's played well this season.
He has played well.
So, I mean, it's a tough matchup. It kind of goes against my logical, rational thinking.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I have a plums feeling about Derek Carr. I'm probably the only person in the world that feels that way.
I like to hang out with Derek Carr.
I wouldn't. He seems very boring. I watched him on Hard Knocks. It was like talking to your pastor. He didn't say anything interesting. He's just a family man. He's a nice guy.
I'd like to go out to dinner with Derek Carr.
I'll buy you a nice steak, pal.
Yeah, I feel like he'd pay.
Yeah, he would.
He'd buy me a nice dinner.
I think he would.
That's what I would do. Maybe
I think he did that on Hard Knocks, actually. He paid for like the defense.
We can go out for dinner and that's it.
Okay.
No drinks afterwards.
I'm going to hang out with Chris Carson that night.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot better of a night.
I'm going to take the Raiders to win.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm taking the Bucs.
The Aaron Jones, that was the funniest thing said tonight. I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders.
All right, Raider up. Next up, we have
Da Bears.
against the Rams.
Da Rams?
No, say. I said the Rams. Say the name again.
Oh, Da Bears.
Might be the least exciting 5-1 team I've ever seen. I was really hoping they'd make a move for Le'Veon Bell, but for now, I guess I guess keep starting David Montgomery. He's super inefficient and not good at football. But he's been catching a ton of short passes with no Tariq Cohen in the lineup. And
it was like the worst sell that you could have made for him. He's not good at football. He's
catching it.
Yeah, he catches the ball.
You get a point for every catch.
Yeah,
like that's my whole thing. So like, let's say
you still get 0.9 points.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, let's say David Montgomery has 10 carries for 30 yards and 5 catches for 30 yards.
Yeah, it's more efficient in the
So that's 11 points.
Yeah.
Let's say Derrick Henry runs for 110 yards, no catches. It's the same amount of points.
Yeah.
So guys that catch passes, I like. PPR. Hashtag analysis. The Rams struggled against the 49ers, but Robert Woods is still producing. His teammate Cooper Kupp, however, had only 3 catches for 11 yards last week. Are you nervous about him, Justin?
For me, it's kind of hard to be nervous on somebody that I wasn't super big on to begin with. But if I'm a Cooper Kupp owner, I think I would start to get nervous.
I am a Cooper Kupp owner.
Yeah. Are you nervous?
Not really.
Yeah.
He still had 9 targets last week, so they're still looking his way.
Doesn't seem like they're going. I don't watch much of the Rams at all.
You're not doing a good job with this then. You need to watch all the games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he hasn't been excellent, but he's been serviceable. And I mean, I'm not saying that I think he's, a top 10 guy, but as long as he gets 9 targets a game, I feel okay. I think he'll get there. I mean, he had that long touchdown against the Giants. Before that, he wasn't having a big day, so you only need to break one. But with the volumes there, I don't feel that unsettled. I'm still starting Cooper Kupp every week.
Yeah.
As for the running backs on the Rams, we're seeing more Darrell Henderson Jr., but I still view this as a true committee and a fluid situation. Henderson is the only one I would start. I view him as a flex play, but it could change at any moment, which I do not like.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Rams to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going Rams.
Dude, I didn't even know the Bears were doing this well.
Da Bears.
I'm going with the Rams.
Only one loss so far, Senni.
That's insane.
All right, Danny, let's go punish you.
All right, Danny. Any last words on your last place punishment before we do this?
Don't shoot me in the thigh. I won't.
All right, whenever you're ready, in the name of fantasy football.
You ready?
Yeah.
Here comes.
Oh! Oh my God! Oh! What aim? Oh man! It burst though.
Oh, that's scabies.
Yeah. Okay. That's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Fantasy Beer League. We'll be with you every Wednesday on YouTube with audio-only podcasts available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Pandora. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the handle @FantasyBeerLG. Those are the words Fantasy Beer and the letters LG. I'm Shawn Joyce. He's Justin Giel. Special thanks to Danny Varico for nutting up and doing this punishment, man. It is a brutal looking thing. And here's Matt Senni with his advice of the week.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't watched or read One Piece yet, now's the time to do it. It's been on for about 30 years, so they must be doing something right. It's one of the best anime of all time.
All right. Well, all you nerds in the crosshairs of fantasy football and anime, please do that. Thank you for watching. Good luck in Week 7.